Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica, and today I wanted to finish up a project that I have started over a year ago, and that is my Newcrest project because, yep, we were building it a year and a half almost now, and now we have only one last lot to finish it all up. You might see in a corner that I kind of have already done that, like, that's a tiny little spoiler, but that is a park. So, we have a 50 by 40 lot in the Newcrest area where we have the couple of kind of a big lot. So out here on one of them we do have an apartment building. On the other one we have another apartment building, which I spent quite a big amount of time building. And also out here we do have a gym, which was actually the very first build that I have made for my new first project. And also we have a 40,000 simoleon house out here on the corner. And now the finishing build that I wanted to make was a park. So as I'm saying that, I think let us go right into the speed build. So out here on this slot, first thing that I wanted to do is to lay out for us a tiny little building so that in case if you're going over to this park and the weather is not really nice, at least you're gonna have some area to hang out, to do at least something. So that is actually my go-to like way to make the whole parks, because usually, and it happens quite a bit if you have seasons in the game, when you're gonna go to parks, probably it's gonna be raining, and that is annoying because if that is a thunderstorm, then yeah, you cannot do anything in a park if you have nothing but a bathroom where your sims can hide. In here, first thing, I decided that we don't need a building, and that is why we have like an entryway building, which I literally make an entryway. So we have a big arch made out of the part of the building through which you're gonna go to the bridge that's gonna lead to all other park. And yes, as you can see, we have quite a bit of water features already in this park. And yeah, I decided to make this park into like a river park of sorts. And yes, I know that we kind of do have water. We have a huge lake in the background of this lot, but having waters in the park itself is kind of a little bit more fun, at least as I'm thinking about it. And it is a nice place to go and get some fish, like, fishing is actually kind of fun in the Sims sometimes, especially for your Sims. If your Sims aren't squeamish, then they will probably like fishing, and if they feel fine. So I decided that out here I'm gonna also stick a couple of fishing spots everywhere around. And you might wonder, like, yeah, but we have literally the lake in the background of our park. Why am I sticking out here fishing spots? Yep, we do have a lake, but actually the only fishing spot in this whole area of Newcrest is on the opposite side of Newcrest, behind that huge brown bricked apartment building that we have in this area. So that is kind of far. So in case if you want to come over to this area and if you want to maybe go and fish, going to an apartment building is kind of controversial choice, but going to a park is maybe a little bit easier, at least usually for me. And yeah, about the river, I was thinking about the ways how I can kind of incorporate the whole like river thing into the park out here, because we kind of cannot connect any water to the outside water of the lots. So that is a little bit annoying, of course, but I figured that if I'm gonna stick several water fountains that we do have in some packs, then it kind of will look like we have several waterfalls. And yes, that doesn't look like nature or river, of course, but even if it's human made, is that so bad? I think that that is not so bad. I think that even if it's human made, that is actually kind of fun too. Like, the whole big park we have made in this area, maybe it was just a flat grass and we decided to make it more fun. So yeah, we do have out here a river, the whole river. And this river actually kind of helped me with the fact that this lot is extremely huge, because this is 40 by 50 lot. So with this river, I decided to divide the whole area of the park so that it's not so difficult for me to fill it up. And if you have watched some of my videos, you probably do already know that I do not think in like a big scheme when I'm trying to build some lots, these community lots, and I'm trying to make a lot of like cozy looking nooks everywhere around. I'm trying to make like cozy little parts everywhere and kind of try and tie them in together. So out here I have decided to probably try and do something similar to that. So in this whole park we are going to have several kind of cute and cozy nooks, and I think that they're going to be really useful for your sims to hang out and do something. Like, yeah, we have out here a picnic blanket, which came with a Lovestruck pack, and I'm gonna stick it somewhere like in the corner. Maybe a couple is gonna come over there. and they're gonna hang out there, and they're gonna have a date in there, like somewhere close where nobody's gonna see them. And I think that that is probably a little bit fun. Also, in the other area, I decided to make a nook with a swing set so that your Sims will be able to, like, hang out, enjoy the weather, enjoy the wind in their hair, and don't be worried about anybody seeing them or everybody walking around constantly, so that you're not able to enjoy the swing set, like because of a fear of literally hitting somebody with your swing. So out here I decided to try and avoid these kind of stuff, and I think that I probably managed to do that not so bad out here, and I hope that you will probably agree with me later. And now, if you're thinking what I'm doing, yeah, out here we also have a deck. And if you're wondering what this whole deck is about, it's, as for me, is a sort of like a summer feature where your Sims are gonna be able to have an outdoors dinner, an outdoors lunch, or something like that. And that is like a grilling deck, yeah, because we are in a park. And out here, I thought that maybe sticking a couple of grills is gonna be kind of fun. I know that really not so far from here we already do have a grill in this area, but it's not close enough. So having a grill in a park is nice, I think, even though this park is literally filled with nooks. And if you're wondering what logic I was going around with landscaping, and that is was trying to make it all look kind of natural and in the same time a little bit intentional. So with all the landscaping, we have a lot of cottage living trees again, and that is because they are literally life-saving in case you want to make a park. Because if you're trying to landscape a huge lot, having trees that do come in sets is very easy. It's very useful to have. And Cottage Living has some of these like cute oak trees that do come in sets. So in sets of three, and I was using them in this park a lot. Like, I think we have 5 or maybe 6 areas where I was using these ones, just because it was so easy to fill the area with them, and it was so like it was making such good natural looking nooks. Like, have you seen the area where I did just place a swing set? That looks perfect. Like, nobody's gonna come over there and disturb you. Like, absolutely perfect. Like, you can enjoy your swing set and just feel the wind in your hair, just like I've said before. So cottage living, as for me, is, yeah, it is one of the essential packs if you want to try and landscape hard in this game. And it's kind of good not only because it does have these sets of trees, but also because it has these like huge underlying bushes that I'm using literally everywhere out here. Of course, the main shapes I would lay out with the base game stuff, which is like for money, but all other stuff I was just taking around from debug, so it was kind of for free. And of course, it didn't matter all that much out here because we were working with the community a lot. We are not in a budget. It's still nice that it's free, because if you want to use it somewhere around your house, you don't need to pay any money. But mind that first stick all of these bushes and then set your house on foundation, because otherwise they might jump up to the level of the foundation, and that is annoying. And that is haunting all of the debug bushes. And if you're thinking that everything is kind of blurring around, that is because when I was landscaping, I was mostly going with the rule, like, I'm gonna set the underlying bushes so that I will have a shape, and then I'm gonna go like a little bit taller bushes, and then a little bit taller, and then a little bit taller again, so that we will have all of these like huge layering everywhere around our park, and so that it doesn't look all flat, and so that it doesn't look all empty. So yes, this lot is gonna be very, very, very heavily landscaped, but in the same time, because of it, it is at least gonna look like a real park. So yeah, my order of making all of the landscaping is underlying bushes, a little taller bushes, a little taller, some accent colors, and then add trees. And as for the trees, I was going all in with the cottage living, so I was using all of these oak trees. I was also using these like flower trees. There are some white ones, and also there are some like red berry ones, so I was using them a lot everywhere because they look like nice and tall bushes, so they are absolutely perfect if you want to lay your landscaping. So I was using them a lot. I was trying to divide my nooks with them so that they are a little bit more private. And right after I have finished up with sticking everywhere around all of those bushes, I went with terrain paint. And as for the terrain paint, actually, I was not going all that hard in this build because we don't need that much of terrain paint out here. Like, all we literally do need out here is to have some pathways everywhere around, and we do need to have some maybe dirt path. And as for the pathway that were like built out here, I was using this like tiny little stone terrain paint so that it looks all nice and natural, and it kind of blends really well with the default grasses in Newcrest. So I think that that did go kind of well out here. And as for all the dirt pathways, I was using the dirt terrain paint, and it is actually a very good terrain paint in case you want to use it somewhere under some of the stuff that you're laying everywhere around, because it gives a nice shadow effect for the houses and for everything around it. Now, kind of as I'm finishing it all up with terrain paint, probably I've just did cut out the terrain paint and all of the landscaping part, so probably I'm much further in the build that you're hearing me talking about now. That is because, yeah, terrain paint and all the landscaping was a little bit of a blur. So now, as I am seeing my video right now, I'm going on the inside part of this whole build. And inside is kind of very simple out here. The half, like really complete half of this building is occupied with the bathrooms. And I decided to give us out here big bathrooms. So in the bathrooms, we do have four toilet rooms, as I'm saying, and two sink rooms where you can wash your hands. And also, in two of the toilet rooms, we do have a changing table, but we do not have any toddler potties. And to be completely honest, I completely forgot about them, and I remembered about them later. And yeah, uh, if I did not yet upload this build on a gallery, I would have probably added toddler potties while I was giving you a tour, but I did upload this build in the gallery already, so you can find it out there by my username gloverunt, which is just like my YouTube name, or you can try and search it by my gloverunt hashtag, because I'm using that everywhere too. And on the inside, we have a little bit of a fancier vibe than we do have everywhere on the outside. So the outside gives a little bit more of a cottage vibe, and the inside gives like fancy modern kind of vibes. So on the inside we do have some expensive statues like a duck statue. Also we do have some big and expensive plants. Also on the inside we do have a couple of chess tables, so that your sims at least have something to do out here and they are not like all completely bored having nothing to do out here in on the inside. So on the inside, we do have quite a bit of expensive vibe going on, and you might have probably noticed that by the curtains, the table that I'm using, the statue that I'm using, the art that I'm using, and yeah, I understand that inside and outside do not absolutely match if you think about it, but in the same time, I was thinking that probably it is kind of maybe a little bit hard to make a wildly growing park looking fancy, at least as for now. I did not find a way for myself to do it somehow like that. But as for the inside, it is a little bit easier as for me. And that is probably, I don't know, but maybe for me, making fancy insides a little bit easier because we have so much items going on in the game for the interiors, but we do not have all that much stuff for the exteriors that is gonna look like fancy and nice. And we did not get quite a bit of exterior furniture in a while now. The last consistent amount of furniture for the exterior I remember is actually Romantic Garden, and that was a long time ago. And that is not really nice because even though it does look fancy, yes, Romantic Garden does look very fancy, but in the same time, it looks like classical fancy. It doesn't look modern fancy. So I cannot find myself anyways to use romantic garden somewhere outside, except for maybe flowers, because flowers they cannot look fancy as I'm imagining. I don't know. Of course, you can stick roses everywhere, and that is gonna look fancy because roses are kind of like, I don't know, picky plants, like they're hard to maintain. But the road is hard to maintain usually on the inside, but on the outside they are not that hard. So I'm seeing the whole landscaping stuff and mismatching styles as And maybe a little bit of a problem of a game and not of me, but maybe it's just me trying to justify mismatching styles of the inside and outside for this park. And now, as I'm kind of slowly going around and finishing up the build, as I'm slowly going out and trying to finish up the whole deck with furnishing all around, and with me needing to stop babbling already, I think we might already try and go back into the game and see what we have ended up with. So this is our park. I know it looks a little bit weird from the front if you look at it like that. Like we have a stone pile out here, some bushes and plants everywhere around, another stone pile out here. But in the nighttime, it actually looks kind of nice because we have a lot of lighting everywhere, and it kind of like lights up all of the nuts that we do have. And you cannot see them all from the top because most of them are covered by trees, so it is some privacy even from the top. So as for the main park layout, we do have a river flowing around the whole park. We do have a deck area out here. Also, we do have this like bridge set up with a tiny little gazebo, I think it is, right in the middle of the park. That is like a meeting point of the whole park. Like you can go to here from here, or to this side, or maybe right into the front to the kids area. And as for the inside of the building out here we have a couple of covered chess tables, and actually all of the chess tables out here are covered. Like this is covered too because we have roof above it, and we have several outside covered chess table. We also have a couple of inside chess table out here, and here we have some expensive rugs, some reading to do, and we have a couple of bathrooms with ridiculously huge mirrors for the bathrooms, but you know, everything has its use. And from out here, we can go through this sliding bridge toward this area where we have one of the telescopes, which is a little bit creepy because it looks right to the windows of our neighbors, and that is not really nice, but that's what we have. And out here we also have a tiny little bench area where your students can sit, enjoy the water. And this water is actually sparkling water from the get together, and I like using it really much for the parks that kind of do have a little bit more of a polished vibes. And out here we have this fishing spot, and as for these little water features, I was imagining as if it's like kind of flowing into this water, but of course it doesn't look like that. But we can always imagine. And if you go directly to the front from this gazebo, you can go to the kids' play area. Out here we have this pirate ship. I know that the same one that we have out here, but this is in the park and this is somewhere on the outside. So we have this sheep out here. We also have these monkey bars, and we have a swing set. So your Sims can enjoy the weather and not the telescope. So have fun and enjoy. And this time, instead of all of those usual sands that I'm using underneath these like playgrounds, I did use these rocks from the ground together, and they are supposed to be splash pads, but I decided to imagine as if they are made of sort of resins, so that you can use that like as something softer to fall on while you're playing. I think that that is not really bad. And they, to be honest, are using something similar out here. So kind of the same vibe, like all in the same style. And out here you can fish too, because like why don't we? And out here where we have this another little nook, you can fish too. And if you go to the right from the entrance of the park, out here we have a little fountain with another little nook where we have a trash can and a sitting area. And out here we have another chess table. I know that it's looking right into the bathroom, but I'm imagining that curtains are closed most of the time. And from here we can go out here. In here we have our another one last fishing area in this park. And also this, I don't know, a date area in here. Maybe that is something nice too. At least we have a blanket out here where we can woohoo or have a picnic, like, you know, have some fun. And if you go up here to this deck, out here we actually do have like our little diner with the bar and with a couple of grills. So your Sims can cook out here, they can eat out here, they can just enjoy the water around them flowing, like, and they can enjoy the view toward the bigger water that we have out there. So that is kind of nice too. And if you're wondering what this is, that is that decor piece from the Cottage Living pack, and I decided to use it out here as if, you know, that is some sort of like local installation, like maybe that is for some sightseeing, like, you know, somebody was dropping some flowers everywhere. And that is actually it for the park. I know that it is not that big of a build for a speed build, but at the same time, this build happened to be a little bit too much as for my liking to make it into a regular build. And this build is actually already on my gallery. And it is called River Park. And all of the info about this build you can find in the description for this video. So now I think I'm gonna tell you thanks for watching. And if you like videos like that, I think you can subscribe to my channel. And that probably should be a goodbye. So, bye guys.